trifecta of what you need to avoid is sugar, grains, and seed oils. And I feel people just did that. I know this whole thing of carnivore seems ridiculously crazy and restrictive to so many people with no vegetables and no fruit. But the fruit is a whole thing as far as the addiction side of it, but that's another story. But realistically, if those three categories were eliminated from a diet, then there'd be so much improvement in health, without feeling like you have to go to the extreme. But again, nobody wants to do that unless you have your why, nobody, but I just think year by year, decade by decade, people are sick. I mean, I have patients that come in and they're sitting there in my chair and they're like, don't get old. Everything started falling apart when I turned, whatever they say, 65, when I turned 60, when I turned 70. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's, I'm thinking to myself, well, unfortunately, we as a population are just going along our way through these decades, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s. And then all of a sudden it catches up because there's so much inflammation. Those seed oils, they absorb into the walls of all our cells. We have a lipid membrane and they absorb and they stay there for a long time. There's about a 600-day half-life. So what you eat French fries, you eat potato chips, you eat mayonnaise, salad dressing, right? That seed oil stays in there. If you stop right now and don't have another speck of it, 600 days from now, half of that is still in your body of what you've been putting in. I mean, it's so, and I feel like if people actually watched those videos or watched Chris Kenobi's video that's in that website, and it's not just for macular degeneration, that translates into everything: diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, stroke, cancer. It's just how your body happens to express the damage from inflammation. And some people it's with their eyes, and some people it's their heart. So but it's so difficult. It's so difficult getting the word out and getting anybody to pay attention who isn't at that point yet in their life where they have their why.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense. For some people, it shows up in their skin. Like, I don't know, I have skin problems, and even though I've cut out like seed oils and stuff, it's like what, 3 years now? And I even like cut out pork and like mostly chicken because of the higher like omega-6 in there. I think it's still gonna take a while for everything to get out of my system and for me
yeah,
to really see all the benefits from cutting it out. Because people always want it to be a quick fix, like, oh, you've given it up for a month and now you don't see a difference, so it wasn't that. But like you said, 600 days, just the half-life. You have to give things time, especially
yeah,
when it comes to seed oils.
yeah. And I say to people, it's so funny, like just what you said. People say, well, I've done it for a month and I don't notice a change. Well, you know what? You've done the other thing for 30 years and now you expect 30 days to, flip it around like that. No, I say at a minimum, you got to do it 90 days. You got to get through the transition period. You got to get through adaptation, and your body's going to figure out, oh, we're not getting that garbage anymore. Let me figure out what to do with this really good, nutritious food and start healing. Because I'm the body is remarkable in its ability to heal, but it's only in the presence of proper nutrition. And I know there's so much conflicting noise out there, and I'm sure most of the people that are listening to your podcast aren't people who are vegans and vegetarians, but but there's probably plenty of people who couldn't imagine to be at the extreme where I am. I mean, I'm a little over 13 years now of eating meat, seafood, eggs. I did and do, and sometimes in and out include cheese, and heavy cream and sour cream. They're all, still animal products. But for me, I'm at the next level where I'm like, I realize that's gotta go too, And it's funny because there's this saying where the one thing that you most don't want to give up is the one thing you most need to give up.